Okay, welcome to tonight's presentation on essential oils for winter wellness and seasonal stress for people and pets. So, if that is what you came here for, you are in luck. You were in the right place. I actually have a friend whose favorite holiday is Halloween. And as soon as it was over, she said, "Oh, now it's time for the holidays and all the work I have to do and the stress I have to endure so the rest of my family can relax and have some peace and a good holiday." And I was just like, I'm so sorry you feel that way, but can you guys relate? Is this like a stressful time for you guys? All the cooking, the cleaning, the sugar that we're consuming starting on Halloween and moving on into Thanksgiving, and then I love a good cookie exchange just as much as the next guys for Christmas. The beverages that we're drinking, sometimes we're drinking because we feel like we have to drink them because otherwise we can't cope with all of our family. And the money that we're spending on parties and gifts, not to mention, can we just talk about the big elephant in the room, which is the time change? So it is dark right now. It gets dark at 5:30 here in Texas instead of 8 p.m., which I feel like it was just getting dark at 8 p.m. not too long ago. And we are not okay. Okay. We are not okay. And I'm okay. I am going to be the first one to say that. So here's what we're going to cover tonight. I want to be respectful of your time. So this essential oils for winter wellness and seasonal stress for people and pets. Our agenda is we're going to start off with the foundations of health, specifically for the fall and the winter months. We're coming up. I used to live in Michigan, so the winter months like started in October and went until like March, almost April. So if you're in the north, some of you are here from Alaska, believe it or not. Those of you that are on live, there's a couple of people from Alaska, and it's just like really, really hard for you guys. It's already like, what do you get, like 5 hours of light daytime during certain times of the year. And so we're going to start with the foundations of health for that, and then we're going to talk about some common winter problems and natural solutions. And these are common winter problems for animals and people. Okay, so of course I'm a veterinarian, so I'm going to be focusing a little bit on the animals too. I can't help it. And then we're going to talk about seasonal stress and beating the blues, which is something I personally struggle with. And then we're going to do a little bit about safety considerations, especially when it comes to essential oils and pets. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't cover that a little bit. And then we're going to finish with an awesome daily routine that you can do for your whole family wellness. Whether you have little kids or pets or just for yourself, some daily routines, just an example of one that you can follow to really help you throughout this time of year. So, what can we do to not just survive the season, but actually thrive? That's the goal here, and to help our animals do the same. So, if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Janet Rourke. This is me not in the winter time. That's my favorite time of the year in Texas, which is the springtime when we have all the bluebonnets blooming, wildflowers. So, but I knew I was going to be a veterinarian when I was 5 years old, and that is my identity. And apparently I'm having a little bit of an identity crisis right now because I can't work. I can't do my vet stuff because I just had foot surgery. But started working for veterinarians when I was 16. As soon as I could start working, I volunteered at the local vet clinic in Lanesburg, Michigan. If you know where that is, there's only about 1,000 people that live there. I was one of them for the majority of my life. And I went to the University of Findlay in Ohio for my undergrad. I actually triple majored in pre-veterinary medicine, biology, and equestrian studies, so big into horses as well. And I was also working 3 part-time jobs. So I'm one of those people that just really likes to work, and I don't think I ever stopped. So I started working when I was 16, and I don't remember a time that I wasn't working. It's hard for me to take breaks, but I'm getting better at it as I get older, because you'll find out it's actually really good for us to take breaks. I went to Michigan State University for vet school in 2001. I graduated in 2005 and became a veterinarian, passed my boards and started working as a veterinarian. I actually started my own little practice right then up in Michigan, and then started Hill Country Mobile Veterinary Service down here in Texas in 2009. I started using essential oils for my own health actually in 2014, dealing with a pretty severe seasonal affective disorder, depression, and horrible, horrible headaches. I had horrible migraines, and nothing I was doing was working. So acupuncture helped a lot. I also was seeing a chiropractor, so I was really starting to get into the alternative type modalities at that point for my own health. And a friend of mine introduced me to essential oils, and the they worked so quickly. I was like very confused and needed to know the science behind it. So I started digging into the research behind essential oils and why they work and how they work on our own health, and was amazed by how much science there is supporting the use of essential oils. And then I started seeing that there were animal studies and things like that. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to start using them in my practice about 6 months after I started using them for my own health. And then I launched Essential Oil Vet. I became the Essential Oil Vet in 2014. And as they say, the rest is history. Now I have a totally holistic practice. I still do some integrative stuff, but not very much. Most of my practice is acupuncture, chiropractic, and essential oils, and laser, and that kind of fun stuff. PEMF, all that sort of fun stuff. And so it's strange how it's strange if I look back and see where I started and where I am now and how different it is. And I am so grateful for the journey. And maybe that's where you're at. You're somewhere on a journey as well. And I'm so grateful that our paths crossed and that you're here. So people actually turn to essential oils for winter wellness solutions and seasonal stress when their current approach to health is not getting the results that they want. They don't want to use toxic chemical concoctions, especially around our pets. And when we've got the cabin completely closed off and insulated to keep things warm inside. Maybe they're overwhelmed with all the natural options that are out there and they don't know what to believe and who to trust. Maybe they want to increase their overall quality of life and longevity for their animals and themselves. You want to look good, you want to feel good, and you want to do that for as long as possible. That's where I'm at. And then also they turn to essential oils when you want to be proactive instead of reactive when it comes to wintertime struggles, especially when it comes to the immune system. So we're going to start off with the foundations of health for the winter months. And this is going to be for both people and animals. And it doesn't matter if we're talking horses, dogs, cats, guinea pigs, it doesn't matter. The foundation of health is the same for all species. We're just a species of animals. Anyway, we're we're just a different species of animals that communicate in complex ways compared to some of our other species. But we start with the building block of health, which is nutrition and digestive health. Next, we move on to physical health, which includes movement and joint and muscle health, as well as organ support and metabolic health. And then we need to focus on emotional and behavioral health. And I'm going to be talking quite a lot about that today because reducing stress and anxiety and ensuring restful sleep is where this comes in. But this is something our animals really struggle with, and we really struggle with, like something like seasonal affective disorder, which I have. And our animals pick up on our stress and anxiety as well, don't they? They feel when we're stressed out because we have to make cookies for the party and we haven't even started yet and we're supposed to leave in 30 minutes and it's so crazy. They don't know all that's going on in our brain. They just know that you're like, which means like, okay, a lion is coming and going to attack us. So they also need to be on guard in case they need to run. And that long term leads to chronic stress, leads to inflammation, and inflammation leads to the disease that we see in our pets. And a lot of times they just don't understand what's going on. We can't explain to them, oh, honey, I'm sad because the days are shorter now. And I don't know how to explain that to them. And they don't, but they do make us feel better. Snuggling with them is such a good therapy, right? Then we move on to our environmental health, which is especially important in the winter months because our doors and windows are closed. We don't have good ventilation necessarily in the home. And then our immune health, which is a major focus this time of year, supporting the immune system for both people and pets throughout life, but especially in the winter, with informed and proactive care. So these are the foundations of health for the winter months. We're going to be focusing on a couple of specifics within that, but really there are certain things that if we get it right, especially that building block of health, the nutrition and digestive health, then the rest of it kind of comes into play all the way up to the immune health, because 80% of our immune system is in our gut, in our digestive system. And it's the same with every other species, with dogs, with cats, with horses. It doesn't matter. 70 to 80% of the immune system is in the gut. And so if we can get that down, we're 80% of the way there, believe it or not. Okay. So what are essential oils? So some of you may not be, understand what essential oils are. And so I'm just going to really briefly cover this for those of you that are brand new to this. Essential oils are aromatic compounds that are found in different parts of plants, the bark, stem, roots, flowers, different parts. They are extracted from those plants through a process called steam distillation, or they're cold pressed in the case of citrus oils. They're 100% natural if they are pure essential oils. And that is a big if, because there's a lot of junk out there, unfortunately. But they're made up of a bunch of different constituents or different molecules that make up these essential oils. And those different molecules interact with our cells and even go into our cells in some cases to help keep them healthy. They're actually secondary metabolites of different plants, and not every plant does make essential oils. Okay. One of the reasons I really love them, because I use them medicinally, are that they are 50 to 70 times more potent than herbs, which is really incredible. Now, unfortunately, I mentioned this, and here's where I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. Not all essential oils are created equal. And this is because there's no industry-wide standard. Essential oils are distributed through one or more brokers, and the true source and composition of that actual essential oil is unknown. And a lot of times they're cut, synthetics are added to them, or cheaper oils or fillers are added to them. And the reasoning is because this industry is largely kind of like a perfuming industry. So they care about what the essential oil smells like more than what they care about it being actually therapeutic. So if you're going to be using it in your diffuser to make your house smell good, they want it to smell a certain way. If you're using it to make soaps, we want our soap to smell the exact same every time we make it. And so they will add synthetics to make it smell a certain way. And that is just the way the industry is. But there's a small portion of the industry, like me, that uses these medicinally. And so we want to make sure that, and especially if we're using them on animals or with animals or around animals, we want to make sure that they are the real deal, the pure stuff. It's because we know, and it's been tested many, many times, and it still is. I wish it wasn't still like this, but it is, that 80 to 90% of the essential oils on the market today are adulterated. So the stuff that you buy on Amazon, the stuff that you get at your grocery store, the stuff that you get at the health food store, even 80 to 90% of those are adulterated. It's really not good stuff. And those synthetics, the synthetic oils and fillers are that's what's very unsafe or toxic to pets and people. Actually, it's hormone and endocrine disrupting. It really messes with your brain, and we're going to talk about why this smell messes with your brain so much in just a little bit. So how do we fix this? If you're like, Dr. Roark, you're just telling me that all essential oils are bad. Not all, 80 to 90% of them. So how do we know which ones to get? So the solution is actually to work directly with the farmers to cut out all the middlemen and make sure that that product is tested. The composition of that essential oil is tested for quality and composition during and after distillation and after filling the bottles. And then they should have published results for accountability. And a lot of people don't know how to read those reports. But I do, and I like to read them and make sure that what we're getting is actually what we're supposed to be getting. So with all that being said, why bother? Why bother? If 90% of them are adulterated, Dr. Roark, why bother? Well, essential oils are really, really incredible. They're very special, and they provide health conscious individuals a safe and natural alternative. You just have to make sure you're getting a pure one. And then after that, you're good. They're used for a wide range of emotional, behavioral, and physical wellness applications, especially during the winter months. They have very few, if any, undesirable side effects when they're used properly. And 1 drop is all that's needed to achieve a very powerful benefit. So a little goes a very long way with these things. They can also be used with other modalities. So they can be used with herbs, with homeopathics, with medications. And one of the things that makes them very different than these other modalities is that essential oils are lipophilic, which means you can put them on the skin and they absorb into the bloodstream very, very quickly. Cell membranes are actually lipid bilayers, and so essential oils can actually pass through that and into the cells. That's really important when we're talking about things like viruses, which live inside of cells, not outside of cells. And so this is one of the few things that we can use for things like that. They also can cross the blood-brain barrier, which is a filter that allows certain things in and certain things not in, to protect the brain and the nervous system. And so the blood-brain barrier, very, very important. It's like a filter. It's a pretty tight filter. And the fact that we can get essential oils into that, in through that, means we can help the brain and the nervous system, whereas a lot of the medications that we have are not super helpful for that. So, and there's 3 super easy ways to use essential oils: aromatically, topically, and internally. This is Pippa with a diffuser, enjoying some balance. Obviously, this kitty absolutely loves essential oils. So diffusion is the easiest and best way to use essential oils aromatically. You can make room sprays, you do direct inhalation, put a couple of drops on your pet's bedding, put a drop in your hand and just breathe it in. That's a really, through direct inhalation. Hot water or steam are great ways as well. Adding essential oils to your humidifier. Humidifiers are excellent this time of year as the air gets dry and your skin gets dry because you have the heat on. The humidifiers are absolutely necessary to help restore health and help with the skin barrier, which is one of our primary defenses against the germs that are out there. Okay. And you can also use a fan or air filter. Topically, we're going to dilute essential oils for topical use, especially with kids and pets. And then once you dilute it, you can apply it directly on the back. Dogs and cats are really used to being pet along their back, and so that's a great way to apply it. You can do different massage techniques. You can use the reflexology points or meridians if you're familiar with those. Ear tipping is one of my favorite ways because that doesn't get ear tipping is just where you rub the essential oil on the ear tips once it's after it's already diluted. And it's a great way because like this kitty has like less hair on the ear tips, right? And their ears are very vascular, so it absorbs into their bloodstream super, super quickly. And then their fur doesn't get all greasy and that sort of thing. So that's kind of nice. You can also apply it directly to the area of interest. If you have a lump or a bump or a bruise, you can apply it right there, mix it in with shampoo, do hot or cold compresses. And there's a whole zillion different rollerball recipes and spray bottles out there. But topical is one of the best ways to use essential oils with animals. And it's the only way diffusion or aromatic use and topical use are the 2 ways we're going to use essential oils with cats. We don't typically use internal use with cats because they're going to get internal oils when you apply it topically through normal grooming practices. Next, we have internal use, and this is limited. I do this a lot for like large animals, cattle, not cats, cattle and horses, goats, sheep. Great, very easy to apply essential oils by just putting it on a treat and giving it that way or mixing it with their feed. But with dogs and cats, we are a little bit more, careful about that. We limit it a little bit more. With people, I use essential oils internally all the time, but you just want to make sure that it's an essential oil that has the supplement facts label on it that it says it's safe for internal use. This is a Melissa essential oil, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got a little supplement facts label on it, which means you can use it internally. The label says internal use and how to use it. So as long as it says that, you can use them internally. Limited, no more than 1 to 2 drops at a time. You can mix it with wet food. You can put it in a capsule and give it like a pill. That works well for dogs. Rub it on their gums. So there's lots of different internal ways you can give it. This is Stella. She had a bladder stone that was huge. And we were able to get that completely dissolved with some essential oils and a change in her diet. Pretty amazing. All right, moving on to some common winter problems and some natural solutions that we run into. So a few extra pounds is the winter problem. I don't know about you, but I feel this so much in my soul. It happens to all of us, humans and pets alike. So what happens is there's less exercise. Like it's cold outside, maybe it's rainy, maybe it's snowy, it's chilly. We don't get outside as often. So we're getting less exercise. Our animals are getting less exercise. We're getting less exercise. And maybe there's a few more calories being consumed because of the types of food that we're eating, or we have family over and there's a few more scraps that end up on the floor that our dogs are so gracious at helping us clean up on their own, so we don't have to bend over and pick it up. This leads to weight gain, obviously, with pets and people. Let's be honest here. But I want you to all repeat after me. Food is not love. Food is not love. It's a very hard to come to terms with this because in my family, we do stuff together around food. Like as soon as we're done with breakfast, we're planning lunch. We're going to the grocery store. As soon as we're done with lunch, we're prepping our meal for dinner, especially if there's a big family gathering, because that takes some planning. And when you have to feed 10 people, 18 people, you have to prepare for that a little bit. And so, so all of the socialization tends to happen around meals, and whether it's preparing the meal or eating the meal. Now, and this is also something we see with our animals, like they act like they love us when we're giving them food because they really like food. But don't let that fool you. They also love pets. They also love smushies. They also love you just spending time with them and getting a good massage. So there's a lot of other things that you can do with your pets that don't involve treats. So this is really easy for pets when you have put a few extra pounds on. You just feed less. Okay. You may need to talk to your other family members about treat intake and that food is not love as well. But we can really easily do this. And if you know, like I walk my dog 2 hours a day during the summertime and in the fall. And as soon as it gets cold, we end up doing 15 minutes a day because it's really cold and we don't want to do 2 hours anymore. Now, some of you still do the 2 hours and that's awesome. But if you are going from 2 hours a day walks to 15 minutes a day walks, or just letting him run around outside, which let's be honest, they run around for like 2 minutes and then they don't do anything. They're using less calories. And so they need to eat less calories. And if you can plan for that, that's totally okay if that's the case. But just like give them less, start now so that they don't gain extra weight when it gets cold outside, or if it's already cold outside where you're at. You can increase indoor activities, and there's a lot of different things you can do as far as indoor activities. You can do practice obedience. Your vet will love you if this is the case. Recall, retrieving, sit, stay, stand, stay, heel commands. All of this actually helps with mental stimulation in addition to the actual movement that helps them with losing a few extra pounds. It also relieves boredom. Going up and down stairs, you can actually, if they're like not going to go up and down the stairs on your own, cats are notorious for this, take their food bowl before you feed them and walk around the house and go up and down the stairs a few times. It's good for you. It's good for them. They get a little more exercise. You can set up an obstacle course. You can have them work for treats, play keep away fetch in the home, as long as it's, you don't knock over lamps and things like that, or have the dog run over grandma. We don't want that to happen. But you can do social outings at pet-friendly stores if they're social. There's treadmill work. You can actually train dogs and cats to walk on a treadmill. There's doggy daycare facilities. indoor agility facilities. There's so much stuff out there. And then of course, essential oils can help. For people, I love the MetaPower line of products. They have one that helps balance blood sugar. That's the MetaPower Assist supplement. They have MetaPower Advantage, which is a whole 9 collagen. It's a collagen supplement that helps. It has 9 different marine collagens in it. So it's not just good for hair and skin. It helps with joints and overall body health. As well as the MetaPower Essential Oil, which is specifically designed to help regulate blood sugar and insulin spikes. Those insulin spikes, ups and downs that we get anytime we eat a sugary meal or have a glass of wine, that is what's detrimental to our health, and that compromises our immune system. And anytime we can help level that out, which MetaPower helps a lot with that, the better off we are. Okay. You always want to start with the foundation of health, which is nutrition and digestion. And for people, it's going to be our foundational wellness products, but it's also very similar for our pets. So start with a vitamin, a good vitamin supplement. If you're not taking this yet, you should start taking it. VMG Plus is a product that has vitamins, minerals, and greens in it. And this is great for humans. We do not give this one to dogs or cats, okay? But for dogs and cats, there's a great product I like called NuVet Plus. And you can get that over at nuvet.com, nuvet.com, and use code 27702, which is my code, for ordering that. And you can really set them up for success. So it comes in a wafer or a powder, and you can give that to dogs and cats. Giving an omega supplement. Omegas are so critical this time of year because dry skin, cracked skin, all of the dryness that comes is because we don't have enough omegas in our system. And omegas are so good for skin and coat health for our pets as well. For dogs and cats and people, you can give the E-Omega Plus. Or for cats, I really like sardines, or just like a fatty fish like salmon would be good, that are really high in omegas. And then for like horses and cattle, flaxseed works really, really well. Make sure you grind it first and give it to them that way. And then probiotics, again, that digestive health, the immune system is in the gut. PB Restore Plus is excellent for people and for dogs. Or if they're less than 10 pounds, you can give a food-based probiotic, or for cats as well. So like plain Greek yogurt, plain kefir, raw goat's milk is really excellent for this, for dogs and cats, especially for teeny tiny guys. All right, so the next winter problem we run into is dry, cracked, injured, or irritated skin. So winter air can be really harsh, not just on us, but on our animals too. And it's just a combination of cold temperatures, indoor heating, lower humidity. That means moisture literally gets pulled out of our skin and into the air. Okay, same thing with them. So for pets, you'll see things like flaky skin, dandruff, itching, even cracked paw pads, maybe a dry, cracked nose. And for us, it's that dry, tight feeling, like, oh gosh, sometimes painful cracks on our hands, or like I get chapped lips really bad. So the key here is to nourish and protect from the inside out. So internally, make sure everyone's getting those omegas that I just mentioned, and hydration. We cannot forget about hydration in the wintertime. It's easy in the summer because we're sweating and we're like thirsty. So we're like, oh, I'll just drink because I'm thirsty. At least here in Texas, I'm drinking like a gallon of water a day, and easy to add electrolytes to that. But with us, we need to add electrolytes in the winter time too, because we're losing water, not through sweating, but because the air is so dry, so we don't notice it. And so hydration and electrolytes, super, super important. That's foundational for healthy skin. And we can also use essential oils, of course, and natural moisturizers, to lock in moisture and soothe irritation. So this is one of my favorite DIYs for skin, and it's the all natural healing salve. I've sent it out via email if you've been on my email list for a while, but it's really simple. It's safe. It's effective for both people and pets when it's used properly. This is amazing. So you can use this for chapped lips. You can use this for to protect the paws as they go out into the snow. You can actually use it as kind of like a little paw wax. You can make it a little thicker, more like a wax, by adding more beeswax to the recipe. Okay, just a little bit more beeswax. That'll make it a little bit firmer, and a little less if you like it a little softer. So you can kind of play with it a little bit, but this is a great recipe. 8 ounces of coconut oil, 1.25 ounces of beeswax, a little bit of vitamin E or lanolin, and then 5 drops helichrysum, 10 drops myrrh, 15 drops frankincense, 10 drops copaiba, and 10 drops lavender. This is my #1 favorite salve and favorite recipe. And you can use it on people, you can use it on any species of animal. Super, super safe. And all you do is you just melt the beeswax and the coconut oil together in like a double boiler, pull it off the heat once it's all melted and mixed together. And then once it starts to cool off, before it starts to solidify, add in the oils and the vitamin E. Mix it all up really good, and then store it in a glass container or a tin. Those work really, really well. And then for horses, we also add in hoof protection. I don't know if you guys have snowballs in your horse's hooves. Please pick out their feet, even when it's snowy and icy, especially when it's snowy and icy out. And it's so important for them. And then this hoof conditioner you can apply not just to the coronet bands, but the coronet bands are great because horse hooves actually grow slower in the winter time. And so massaging this into the coronet bands is actually going to help improve, like increase hoof growth in the wintertime, which can be really beneficial. So it's 20 drops tea tree, 10 drops rosemary, 20 drops lavender, 8 ounces of coconut oil, and some vitamin E, and just mix that all together. It can be stored outside totally fine. And then just a little bit of that goes a long way, and you can just massage it into the hoof after you pick them out. You can even put it on the bottom of the hoof to help keep snowballs from forming as well. And then our next struggle is the immune system, right? This is the main thing that most of us are really thinking about when it comes to winter wellness, is just like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. As soon as I get sick, I get better, one of the kids brings something else home, and so on and so forth. And they just spread it around over and over and over again. Oh, it's so frustrating. But immunity struggles, we've already alluded to it. It starts with the gut. So remember those supplements and omegas we just talked about, and those probiotics? Absolutely important for this too. 80% of the immune system is housed in the gut for both people and pets. Now, essential oils totally dominate in this department, and not just for respiratory support, but also for getting better if you start to feel a little scratchy throat and it's coming on, and then staying better too, so that you don't get sick next time one of the kids brings something home. So for pets, I love oils like Stronger. This is great for cats and dogs. It's the kids blend of the immune system. What is it? It's called the protective blend for kids, called Stronger. And this is already pre-diluted, so you can use it on the kids, you can use it on the dogs, you can use it on the cat, and you can use it on yourself too if you want. For adults, I really like On Guard, and you can also diffuse On Guard around pets as well, for excellent whole family support. Melissa, for pets and people, Melissa is one of my favorite oils this time of year. It's 20% off right now, so go ahead and grab some because it's a very expensive oil. And this is our primary antiviral support. Okay, primary antiviral for pets. For people, you can add in oregano and thyme. Usually On Guard, oregano, thyme, DDR Prime, Melissa. Those are kind of our main antiviral oils. DDR Prime also stands for DNA damage repair. So it's really good for senior animals in general, just as a general everyday kind of an oil. I usually give that one internally. I take that one internally myself as well every single day. Cardamom and Air X and Breathe and Lemon. These oils are going to be super duper for respiratory support. Air X is designed to purify the air, to clean the air, actually take microbes out of the air and neutralize them. So cardamom though is really good for cats and dogs, and very good for helping with like upper respiratory infections and things like that. You can also diffuse Breathe around pets, even though it does have tea tree in it. So I just diffuse a little less than you would normally. Lemon is super, super safe. Some cats don't like the smell of lemon, so factor that in. It's not toxic to them, but it is something they don't like the smell of sometimes. Speaking of cats, let's talk about the cats and the Christmas trees, because I get asked about this every single year, a million times. People are like, well, how do I save my Christmas tree? And the answer is the best thing to do is not put up a Christmas tree if you have a cat and your cat is very interested in a Christmas tree. But we do have some tools if you're like, I have to put up a Christmas tree, that's not an option. Leave the tree up before putting any lights or ornaments on it to let them get used to it. Consider wire protectors to prevent chewing on light cords. Maybe consider having a fake tree or a smaller tree that you can put in an area that's like protected away from the cats, or keeping your tree in a room that is closed that the cats can't get into, like a family room or something like that, that you can close off, or a den, as opposed to like a main area where the cat has access. You can wrap the base of the tree in aluminum foil or double stick tape. They don't like double stick tape. And now some cats will just like go above that, and some cats don't care. But most of them don't really like the feeling of aluminum foil or the double stick tape. Do not, under any circumstances, use tinsel if you have cats in the home for anything. No tinsel as decoration, period, anywhere. This is like, they'll chew on it. They're very interested in it. They want to play with it. They chew on it. They swallow it. It gets caught in their intestines and rips their gut apart. It's pretty gnarly, and I hope it scares you, because I don't want you guys using tinsel with cats. Okay, there's so many other things you can decorate with. They're so much safer. And then you can make a deterrent spray with essential oil. So you just pick 20 drops of an essential oil your cat doesn't like. So do see which ones they like, see which ones they don't like. If they like run away when you get a certain essential oil out, use that one. Black pepper is helpful. Some cats don't like peppermint. Some cats love peppermint. So that's a hit or miss. Most cats don't particularly care for citrus oils like orange or lemon. So those are great options as well. And some cats don't like cinnamon very much. So those would be some options to try. Just play with it, see what your cat doesn't like. And then, so you'll do 20 drops of that essential oil that they don't like, and then in a 4-ounce spray bottle, and shake it before really well and spray the whole tree as necessary. The other thing you can do is get little, like the ceramic ornaments, the like terracotta ornaments, and those act like passive diffusers. And you can put a few of them throughout the tree and then just put straight essential oil on those. Like a citrus oil, it works really, really well for that. And that's what my friend Leah did last year. And this is what she posted. Oh my God, I love this so much. So she's like, I used a doTERRA hanging diffuser, which is the terracotta hanging like diffuser, like ornament thingy. And she put some citrus oils on it. And she said, so far it's keeping him out of the tree. So she shared this in her Essential Oil Vet membership group, which everybody is allowed to come into. It's not just for my team or anything like that. But this is basically, she said, hashtag cat proofing the Christmas tree. Let's give it a go. And cats don't like citrus oils. And she had some little videos here. But this was him last year in the tree, and he was staying away from the tree with the citrus oils. She used Citrus Bliss and Citrus Twist, it looks like. But she had to share it with the other cat mamas because it worked really, really well for her and her kitty, her little notorious tree climber in there. All right, next problem that we have in the wintertime is cabin fever. So less exercise and not as much time outside can lead to some sibling rivalry and animals fighting, and balanced essential oils are really, really good for this. And you can diffuse some uplifting oils like citrus oils, and bergamot is really, really incredible for the mood and for uplifting, and really, really good for depression. It's one of my top oils that I use for seasonal affective disorder. And then, but like, what about what about the animals outside? And we're going to talk about that in just a second, but mainly just when the days are short and the temperatures are low, we're all cooped up inside, that's when cabin fever sets in. And it doesn't just affect us, it really does affect our animals too. Less sunlight, fewer walks, less outdoor time, all of that can lead to restlessness, irritability, even anxiety. So we can improve this by bringing in some movement and stimulation and peace back into the home naturally. For dogs, you can try things like rotating the toys, try indoor fetch or training games that we kind of mentioned before when we were talking about, you know, exercise inside, and diffusing uplifting oils during playtime. Like Motivate is a great one for that. For cats, create vertical spaces so they can jump up and down, go up and down the stairs, like we talked about, introduce new textures, scatter a few drops of copaiba or frankincense on a blanket to help them relax. And cardboard boxes are super, super awesome for cats, and they're totally free. So utilize those boxes. Don't just break them down as fast as you can and get them out of the house. Make little houses for your cat. Let them chew on the sides of them, and have some enrichment in their lives as well. Little crinkly things work really, really well. And then for people, get creative, like a 10-minute dance party, a stretching break, or even like gratitude journaling can really shift your energy super, super quickly. So if you're like cranky, one of the highest vibration emotions and feelings and energies is gratitude. So if you're just like, I hate everything right now, I'm going to kill my husband, my animals are driving me crazy, I am totally going to murder someone, and it's totally going to be acceptable. I can store the body until the ground thaws. It's totally fine. No, I'm totally joking. Don't do that. But you can shift that feeling so quickly by just being like, okay, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for right now? Like that I'm truly grateful for. And it might take you a minute when you're grumpy, but shifting that focus, what am I grateful for right now? If I'm so angry, like what am I grateful for right now? It'll shift you so fast. And that energy shift, your animals can feel. They can feel it. And they're like, okay, mom's not going to die. She's not going to murder us. Everything's going to be okay. So cabin fever doesn't have to bring everyone down. Just a few intentional changes in routine and some mood supporting oils can really turn those long winter days into cozy connected moments for the whole family, including those those with paws. Okay, so what about the animals outside? Now, a lot of you don't have animals outside, but I still get asked like, how cold is it too cold for a dog and things like that. So we're going to do really quickly some special considerations for outdoor animals. The main thing is shelter. So you can see these cows are like good. They have each other as protection, and you're like, but they're covered in snow. Well, the thing is, that snow is actually on the outer layer of their coat, their hide, and the under layer is actually dry the majority of the time. So it's pretty great. They can actually be like completely covered in snow and be totally dry. But having a shelter so they stay dry, or at least have a wind block, is really important. Adequate food. So our outdoor animals, like our cattle and our horses and our goats, you might need to increase feed in the wintertime because their metabolism's going crazy to try and stay warm. And so they might need more food, which are indoor dogs and cats need less food. So it's a little the opposite. The biggest problem I see is frozen water and no access to water because the pipes freeze. So you can actually do this trick where you fill up a jug of water, a gallon of water, with the top on, chuck a ton of salt in there and it won't freeze, and then put that in a water trough, and around there they'll be able to like dunk it down and be able to get like a little hole with water in it. So that's really helpful. It's a little helpful tip that I've used having horses in Michigan for a big majority of my life. And then to blanket or not to blanket, that's the question. We do have a little chart here in a little bit if you want to take a screenshot of in a little bit for when to blanket and when not to blanket for horses and other animals. And then bringing animals into a garage area. I have a friend who didn't have a barn in Michigan, and she set up her garage every winter with some stalls for her goats when it got really bad, and it worked really, really well. So just be sure to pet proof your house, your garage first. So antifreeze is deadly to animals, so please don't let them get into it. It does have to be pet proofed, so they can't get into that stuff. Heated beds or self-reflecting heat is a great option. Dry straw, Hay and straw mold quickly if they get wet and need to be changed frequently. So, but straw is a really good bedding. We had outdoor dogs when I was growing up because my dad was a hunter. And so we had two outdoor dogs. They had a little shelter, they had a little like dog house thingy, and they had each other, so they had warmth, and we bedded it with straw, and we just made sure that straw was clean and dry, and those dogs stayed warm all winter long with that. So it's pretty great insulation, and keeping those animals dry is key. So is it too cold outside for my dog? So how cold is too cold for your dog? It depends. What is their age? Puppies and senior dogs can't regulate their body temperature as well as a healthy adult dog can, so factor that in. What about this coat type and color? So dogs with double coated breeds, so double layer coats, are more tolerant to the cold because they have two layers. They're like, you have a husky, they'll sit outside in the snow all day long, and you'll be like, come inside, it's freezing. They're like, no, I love it. And they will not come inside because they love it so much. Dogs with thin coats, like greyhounds, things like that, have less to protect them from the cold and get cold just thinking about going outside. The size and the weight. So if you have a little Chihuahua, thin coat, small mass, small body size, they are going to be colder and get cold quicker than a big dog with a large mass, like a Bernese Mountain Dog. Consider the weather. The wind can cut through a dog's coat and decrease their insulation. Dampness, so if they get wet, that definitely affects their fur and makes it so they can't stay warm. Cloudy days block the sun, and the sun is very warming, plus it's great vitamin D. And so the temperatures that you kind of need to pay attention to, under 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and I have the Celsius on here too for those of you that are Celsius people, but under 45 degrees Fahrenheit, sensitive to the cold, they will get cold at 45 degrees. If it's below freezing, small size dogs, elderly dogs, very young dogs, or dogs that can actually get really, really dangerously cold, and that can be pretty bad. If it's under 20, most dogs develop problems at this point, and sometimes frostbite if they remain outside for too long. So if it's under 20, they really do need some kind of shelter or something like that to keep them safe. For horses, this is my chart for when to blanket, when not to blanket. It depends on if they're clipped or not clipped and a whole lot of other things. Take a screenshot of this really quick if you have a horse and you want this chart, because I'm not going to leave it up for very long. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's move on to my favorite topic, which is the really big thing I wanted to talk to you about, overcoming seasonal stress and beating the winter blues, basically. So winter can be beautiful, but it can also be really, really hard. Shorter days, colder weather, less sunshine, really take a toll, not only on our mood, but on our motivation and our overall energy. And just like us, our animals feel it too. They pick up on our emotions and our stress levels, and even the changes in the daylight, obviously, as well as our routine changes, because we change our routine based on the daylight, whether we like it or not. And so let's talk about how to support this emotional balance naturally, gently, and effectively for both you and your pets. So signs can look different for everyone. For people, it might be things like low mood, fatigue, irritability, anxiety, or just feeling off for no obvious reason, or like the blah, as I call it. Like, I just feel blah today. I just feel blah. For pets, it might look like cleanliness, like Velcro-iness, restlessness, pacing, changes in appetite, or unusual behaviors. The first step is recognizing what's happening. Say, oh, this is a different behavior than normal. And also giving yourself and your animals a little bit of grace. It's not bad behavior. It's just a sign that something's out of whack. Something's not in balance. And so there are some things that we can do to help. Okay. In this season, we just have so much stuff going on, lots of new things. The immune system is compromised already and not getting as much exercise. I mean, there's different things you can do with mild stress, like counter conditioning, desensitization, distractions, treat puzzles, work walks, training, high value rewards, like chicken falling from the sky is what my trainer friends call it. Sunlight and movement is really good. Even 15 minutes of natural light or gentle exercise can boost serotonin and help reset your circadian rhythm, which will help set your animals as well. Nutrition is super important. So prevention is best. support the nervous system and mood with omegas. Magnesium is really important this time of year. So those electrolytes really come into play, and balance hydration. Okay. And then that connection, our health, our spend quality time with your pets. Physical touch for them, it releases oxytocin for them and for us. And oxytocin is the bonding hormone that lifts mood for both people and animals. So snuggle time. I'm prescribing you all extra snuggle time with your animals. Okay. So here's how oils can help. This is where the brain, it gets exciting. It gets really cool. So you can use essential oils actually travel through the olfactory system and into the brain, where they affect the body in many ways, including regulating the nervous system response and promoting calmness. So all of those things that we need to overcome seasonal stress. Essential oils calm anxiety and help an animal or human overcome seasonal stress by impacting the limbic system in the brain. That's the part of the brain that controls emotions and emotional responses like anxiety. The mind and the body are very closely connected. So emotions can elicit physical responses. And we know this because if you are feeling stressed, like you have a big presentation tomorrow, or like you're giving one tonight at 6 p.m., you have cortisol and adrenaline release. And that causes an increase in heart rate, respiratory rate. Our animals will start trembling. They're like, what is going on with you? It's because of the stress. So they're actually having a physical manifestation of the emotional thing that's happening, the stress. Now, I cannot emphasize this enough. I have already told you guys like 3 times, but manage your own stress. Our animals reflect our own emotions like mirrors. If you have kids around, or you don't usually have kids around, but kids are coming over because it's the holidays, teach them to respect the animal's space. Insist on this for their safety. They don't pick up on the subtle cues that the animal is feeling uncomfortable. And that's when kids get bit. And it's horrifying for the entire family when this happens. Okay. So the best oils that we can use for seasonal stress, use self-selection, but lavender, copaiba, melissa, cedarwood, vetiver. Vetiver is like a sedating oil. Spikenard, especially for cats, is really good. Roman chamomile, serenity, adaptive. I'm going to tell you guys how you can get that one for free tonight. Petitgrain, peace, balance, which isn't on this list, console, forgive. I use a lot of forgive when family's around. I'll just leave it at that. Any of these oils can be used aromatically, topically, or internally. Now, beating the blues, seasonal affective disorder, is a real thing. And sometimes winter can feel heavy. Like everything just takes a little more effort. And if you've been feeling sad, anxious, or disconnected for a while, just please know you are not alone. I am there too. Okay. We're not meant to carry our struggles by ourselves, whether it's like a trusted friend, a family member, a pastor, counselor, therapist. Like reaching out and talking to someone can be one of the most healing steps you can take. Okay. So these are just some of the things that I like to use. I have a 10,000 lux light. I just got this one out of Amazon. It is from a company. Here, I'll show you guys. See that one? What's the company name? Oh gosh, I don't know. I can't read it. It's Intertech Circadian Optics, circadianoptics.com. Okay. So it's a 10,000 lux light. It's just like, I'm not going to blind you with it, but if I turned it on, you'd be blinded. Get outside, go with your dogs. Okay. Even if it's just for a few minutes, breathe in deeply the air, no matter how cold it is, and then breathe out big, deep breaths. Reset our body. And then I have a happy blend that I use. I call it Dr. Janet's Happy Blend. It is a roller bottle. So 10 ml roller bottle, 40 drops bergamot, 40 drops coriander, and 20 drops of Melissa essential oil. Okay. And then top it off with like whatever carrier oil you want. I use fractionated coconut oil. But please talk to someone. Sharing how you feel doesn't make you weak. It's actually a sign of strength. It opens the door for connection, and connection is one of the most powerful ways to lift the blues, both for us and our animals. They feel our energy. So when we take care of ourselves emotionally, it helps them feel safe and grounded as well. Our animals want to take that away from us and they don't know how, and that can cause anxiety in them. Okay. So if you feel like your sadness or stress is too much, don't hesitate to reach out, even for professional support if you need it. There's amazing, wonderful people who can help you walk through the season and with care and hope. And if you're like, I don't want to reach out to anyone and you want to reach out to me, you can do that too. When we open up and talk to somebody, it helps lighten our load and it reminds us that we are not alone in what we're feeling, because we are not. That feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm all by myself, that is a lie. Okay. I want you to share. Okay, so I want to share something that helps me keep the perspective this time of year. Okay, so this is a tree. Okay, so take a look at it and consider what nature does in the winter. So when you look at this tree, the branches are bare, there's no leaves on it. It's quiet, still, and cold. It's not like covered in ice. It can seem lifeless at first, but what's actually happening is nature is resting. This tree isn't dead, it's not dying, it's rooting. It's gathering strength from beneath the surface so it can bloom again in the spring. And I think it's such a powerful reminder to us. We live in a world that pushes us to be on all the time, but we're not meant to bloom year round, just like this tree. We're not meant to go, 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 and never ever stop, to always be stimulated. There are seasons for growth and seasons for rest. So if your energy feels a little lower right now, if you're moving a little slower or you're needing more quiet, like a little overstimulated, listen to your body. That is wisdom. It's trying to tell you something. Give yourself permission to rest. Your capacity might be lower in the winter. That's totally okay. Actually, it's completely normal. It's what nature intended. It's your body's natural rhythm asking for grace and gentleness. And when we honor this rhythm through rest, good nutrition, connection, and of course our essential oils, we're not, we support not just our mood, but like our whole entire well-being. So as we give ourselves and our animals a little extra grace this season, it's also important that we're using our natural tools safely. So one of the reasons I am so passionate about teaching essential oils is because when they're used correctly, they can be an incredible tool and incredibly supportive for the whole family. But when used improperly, especially with our pets, they can actually do more harm than good. And so let's take it just a few minutes really quickly here at the end to talk about some simple safety considerations to make sure that everyone stays healthy and supported all winter long safely. And so we're just going to really quickly go through this. Essential oils, safety for dogs. Topically, use proper dilution for the size of your dog. Aromatically, use a safe diffusing protocol. Make sure it's a water-based diffuser like the Pebble. Leave the room door open so they can leave if they want to. And internally, we're only going to use a little bit and make sure that the oil is safe for internal use. You can do self-selection by letting your dog smell an unopened bottle. If that your dog likes that oil, is like licking the bottle and wants it, or if it's a neutral response, they're like, I don't really care, you can totally use that. That's a positive or neutral response. But avoid using the oil topically on sensitive areas like the nose, ears, eyes, genitals, or anus. And don't use oils at the same time as a topical medication. So if you're using a topical medication for some reason, they're not super common, but don't use essential oils at the same time. And then there are some products out there that contain xylitol, and the xylitol is very toxic to dogs. So don't you do that. If you're just sticking with just the essential oils, you're good to go. There are oils that we do not use with dogs, and that is birch, tea tree, and wintergreen. You have to be a little careful with the hot oils, which are really popular this time of year, mainly because some animals are just a little more sensitive to it. So just watch them, just observe them if you're using it. And they'll tell you if it's too much. If their eyes get red when you're diffusing cassia is kind of notorious for this. That animal is sensitive to cassia, and you might want to not diffuse that one around that animal. Okay. That's just a few animals I've seen that are sensitive to that one, but just something to keep in mind. For cats, it's the same thing. We're going to use proper dilution for cats, a 0.5 to 2% dilution, and you guys are actually going to get a little dilution guide So we're going to send that out via email if you haven't gotten it already. Actually, I think you guys got it already in the safety guide. So use a safe diffusing protocol, which is the same water-based diffuser. Leave the room door open so the cat can leave if they want. And then oils used topically are going to be ingested during normal grooming behavior. So keep that in mind. You do self-selection just like with the dogs. Don't use it in sensitive areas. And same thing about topical medications and xylitol. For cats, we tend to avoid using the citrus oils topically or internally, but you can totally use them diffused. Just know that a lot of cats don't like the smell of certain citrus oils. In particular, I've seen them not like lemon or orange. Most of them don't seem to mind bergamot very much. It's a little more, it's a little less citrusy and a little more like herbal smelling, if you haven't ever smelled that. Birch, tea tree, and wintergreen. And then I'm also a little bit careful with cats that have asthma with peppermint and eucalyptus. So just factor that in if they have asthma. And then use caution with your hot oils, just like with dogs. So some do's and don'ts. Don't be afraid. Do use only pure, unadulterated oils. Dilute essential oils prior to topical application. Do diffuse around your pets. Do observe their behavior and pay attention to that. Use caution with nursing or very young animals. Use a water-based diffuser and introduce essential oils gently to your pet using self-selection. Store your oil safely and find a holistic veterinarian near you to work with. Don't be afraid. Don't use plain water to remove an essential oil. Use a carrier oil instead. Don't apply a large amount of essential oil at one time. Remember, more diluted more frequently is actually better. Don't use essential oils at the same time as a topical medication. Don't worry or panic if there's an adverse reaction. They're very, very rare and they resolve very quickly, usually on their own. Don't use essential oils in sensitive areas. Don't use tea tree, wintergreen, or birch with dogs or cats. Don't add essential oils to your pet's water dish, and don't ever stop learning. We do have some oils that are phototoxic or photosensitizing, so you don't want to use these topically right before going into the sunlight. This is for people or pets, okay? If you do want to use a citrus oil topically, but you are going into the sun, use green mandarin instead. That one doesn't have the same effects. You guys are getting the essential oils and safety for pets guide. So if you haven't gotten that already, check your email. It'll be there for you. Page 15 is the dilution guide if you need help diluting. It's a digital product. Okay, now we're going to finish up with a simple routine for the whole family. Thanks for sticking with me, you guys. It's kind of a little longer than I want, but I really wanted to talk to you guys sincerely about some of this stuff. Okay. So simple routine for the whole family for daily winter wellness and seasonal stress. You can do something like this. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but you want to start out with a good morning routine. So start strong with your supplements. You are going to take some vitamins like the VMG plus, omegas like the E Omega plus, and probiotics like PB Restore. You're also going to give those to your pets because you're going to give them breakfast. You're going to start your diffusers. Get this into your morning routine, you guys. This is how you affect the limbic system in your brain that affects mood and emotions and keeps everybody getting along, even when they have cabin fever. Apply balance to the bottom of your feet before you put your socks on, and then pat the balance along your pet's back. Drink a full glass of water. You can even add some electrolytes there if you want. I'd encourage you to do this before you drink your coffee or tea if you're a coffee or tea drinker. I am a coffee drinker. Feed a healthy meal to your pets and reduce the amount if necessary, because we don't want to get them too chunky if their exercise has decreased for whatever reason. In that healthy meal, make sure you're giving a vitamin like Nuvat Plus, omegas, and probiotics, whether it's a food-based one or the PB Restore Plus. In your midday routine around lunchtime, stay balanced, focused, and motivated. A little after lunch is when we start to get into a slump, usually. Okay, we're like, okay, I'm getting tired. I just ate, Step outside when it's still light out. Get a few minutes of fresh air. Breathe deeply. Stretch. Move your body. Moving your body gets blood flowing. It decreases the chance of blood clots. It's good for everybody. Take your dog for a quick walk if you work from home. Apply adaptive if you're feeling a little too stressed. Copaiba under the tongue for feelings of overwhelm. And you can give this to your pets as well. Copaiba is my favorite oil to give to pets internally. Put on some Intune for focus or some Motivate if you have a headache or need a little bit more energy, or some peppermint. For your evening routine, start to wind down and restore right before bed. Start diffusing calming oils like Serenity or lavender or Peace. Peace is a really good one. About 30 minutes before bedtime. Take 2 minutes and reflect on 3 things today that happened that you were super grateful for. Your pets pick up on this peaceful energy, and it can be your pets. That's what I'm grateful for. If you can't think of anything else, be grateful for your pets. And then lights out by 10 or 10:30. So just like that tree needs more rest in the winter, it's just resting its rooting. You need more rest in the wintertime. People need more rest in the wintertime. So sleep is your immune system's best friend. That is what's going to, your body's going to reset. It's going to fight off whatever germs affected you today in the best way possible. So sleep is your best friend. Okay. So that wraps up today's talk. Some next steps. If you do not have those oils and supplements in your life yet, please reach out to the person that invited you to this webinar. They will help you with a link and get you connected. If that person was me, visit essentialoilvet.com/winterkit for some of the things that I use that are probably my favorite for immune support, and it has those supplements that I talked about in there. That's my recommended winter wellness kit. Or if you have something really specific, text me at 512-529-1733 or email me. You can reply to any of my emails. I'll get it. Please only text me if you don't have doTERRA yet in your life and you want to get it. Okay. You do get a free gift with purchase, and you'll get a free 30-minute consultation with me once you get your stuff. Just a reminder, Melissa Essential Oil for Everyone is 20% off this month in the United States and Canada. So please get this, stock up on it. One of the things I do, I'll show you guys, is Melissa is very good for the brain for depression. Okay. And anxiety, actually. So what I do is I put a drop on my thumb, and I encourage you to do a 30-day Melissa challenge. You put a drop on your thumb and you press it against the roof of your mouth for 30 seconds to a minute, like this. I'm not going to hold it there for the whole time because I know you guys want to wrap it up here. So you do that twice a day. Do that for 30 days and see how it changes your life. This is something I keep with me. I carry it with me everywhere, because when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed, Copaiba, Melissa, those are going to be the oils that you're going to want to reach for. If you're not a part, step 2 is join the EOVET membership. I mentioned it. We talked about the cat tree, the Christmas tree time. Leah was in the EOVET membership and she shared that. So if you love these recipes that I share with you tonight, and maybe you have some specific questions and you want me to answer them, or you need answers from a real integrative vet like me, or you have something a little more complicated and you want to look up protocols and things like that, you want more at your fingertips, I encourage you to join the EOVET membership over at essentialoilvet.com/members. That is only $27 to join, or $270 if you want to join for the whole year. There's no commitment, no requirement. You can quit after a month if you want. No big deal. I won't even know about it. Probably, unless you tell me. So of course I'll miss you and I want you to stay, but we do have a really great webinar coming up this month on senior pets. So it'll be a really good one. If you want to get in there, that is a member exclusive only. So EOVET members, and you don't have to be on my doTERRA team to be in there. Anybody can join. And that is all, my friends. Thank you so much for this evening. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you reach out to somebody if you need to reach out to someone. And I hope that you're able to get your oils and supplements intact, get a good routine going as we head into the winter months, so that you have the best winter ever and you get some rest. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.